obviously very mindful of your time, but there was one film that I wanted to talk about, which was, I think it's one of my favourite that you've done, which is the 5010 launch.
Yep.
The one filmed as if it's a sort of toy bike. Can
Yep.
you shed a bit of light on that and how that came about? Because did anything change? Was there another idea before we went into lockdown? Like, how did all that happen?
Yeah. So that was like, yeah, that was. I mean, it's like a pretty cool example of like how the process can kind of play out here. Is that um there was another plan. There was like a road trip going to go on. There was like a bunch of different riders involved.
Hmm.
We were going to shoot abroad, and that it was all just kind of just starting to get developed as lockdown came in.
Okay.
So we ended up on a call with the guys at Santa Cruz, and this is like a great example of like how an idea can like come from somewhere and then just like just get developed. So we're doing this. We had to run this call, and then Johnny, who's one of the guys who works here, is like he's a bit of a like a he was a bit of a secret kind of fingerboarder.
Oh,
So
okay. All right, we'll let him off.
he did, yeah. So he did
We'll let him off.
fingerboarding, and he had his own little like there was like a little Instagram account that he had where he done some little actually really cool, really creative little fingerboard edits, and we basically ended up breaking this to Santa Cruz on the call, and there was no like we should do a finger bike edit. It just came into conversation like somehow
Yeah.
about his chat, and then there was still when we were on the call, it was still very much like this focus of doing this road trip because it wasn't full lockdown. It wasn't like COVID was just becoming like the thing and whatever. So anyway, you're just kind of making conversation at the start. Everyone's like catching up, having a chat, and like somehow Johnny's fingerboarding skills came into the conversation, and we're like bouncing it back and forward, and then had the chat about like what the production's going to be, what's going to happen, and then at the end of the call, we're just like, cool, good to catch up, right? We'll just see how things work out, and then it was actually one of the boys at Santa Cruz went, well, if it all goes to shit, then we'll just get Johnny and his fingerboard. And it was like, cool, see you later. Everyone hung up. And then we were just like, shit.
Like, that could be sick.
We could do something. That'd be
Yeah.
amazing. So like Johnny, who's hands down like the talent behind that film, like he went home and we're like, right, cool, let's, rather than just go back to them and pitch it, because we were a little bit like we were kind of apprehensive a little bit about pitching it because we're like, finger biking's a bit old, like, do you know what I mean? It was cool. There was a time when it was cool, and everyone was like buzzing on finger biking. We're like, is this going to be seen as lame, or are they going to be into it? Because we were like, this could be super cool. But so then we're like, right, cool, Johnny, get a finger bike and let's just shoot something and see what it looks like. So there was a little test edit done with just like a finger BMX.
Okay.
And he went and just shot something like, and yeah, he went and shot something, like we put it together, and it was like, that's pretty cool. And then we so rather than like, so we took that to Santa Cruz and went, oh, what do you think? And they were like, cool, let's put a logo on it. So like,
Wow.
that wasn't edit, but they were obviously joking, but they were like, yeah, that's cool, so let's go with it. So then and then we went into lockdown, and then it just became this like really cool, like it was interesting because it was that first time when it's all just video calls, and we're used to being together and working together in a studio, and it was obviously feeling that. Scott, who's our creative director at the kind of agency, he's like creative directing this over Skype. Johnny's like helping, like Johnny's like was writing his model making enemies, so he was doing some of the models where like some of the guys Katie and Lisa are across it kind of pulling it together. We got the guy in Poland who did like the designed the bike.
I was going to ask, like, where did all these props come from then? Like,
we found the guy who made the bike. We found him on Instagram,
right,
and then sent him the copy of the bike to try and make one, and then just start pulling like all the props together, and like Scott and Johnny started to develop these like the ideas of what each scene was going to be, and obviously the scale was super difficult as well to kind of get right and everything. But it was cool to see it like pull together like everyone remotely, and then like Johnny in his garden.
Is it actually in Johnny's garden too then?
Yeah. It's his parents' garden.
Right.
His parents' house. So like they were like helping out with it, like like doing. His dad actually did the little 4x4 in it. He like that was looking brand new, so he like aged the whole thing and like got involved and yeah,
It's
made it look
such
cool.
a good
So
edit,
it was,
man. I think that's definitely up there. It's definitely top three for me of everything you guys have done. I love that. I think it's amazing. And again, tons of views on it. I think it's like 75 million, maybe. Yeah, no doubt that one sold a bike or two.
yeah, it's cool. It was cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.